Hello everyone and welcome. On our last video we covered the top 5 most popular theories fans had on the new Zelda Breath of the Wild 2 trailer. So here's the top 5 most popular theories on who this is. A lot of people have their own theories on who the mystery character is. So many that we decided it would be best if we grouped them together for their own video. Just from the comments of our previous videos and our Discord, I've seen so many people calling each other wrong, debating and arguing over if it is the ancient hero, Zelda, a lost 𝐓𝐼𝐢 member, Ganondorf, a member of the Twilight race, Link from Age of Calamity, and many, many more. While I may not completely agree with some of these theories, I am a huge fan of time travel in Zelda games. In past videos, I've talked about how I would love for them to implement time travel, and we even covered a leak we received about time travel and time control being featured in the game. As for now, we do have confirmation on time control, so let's see if the time travel ends up being real as well. We will be explaining all of these theories, giving evidence that both strengthens and weakens each. If you can think of any, or if we leave one of your favorite theories out, please let us know. If we receive enough, we may end up doing a part 2 of this video, covering 5 more of the most popular theories, as well as whatever new evidence comes along to help support some of these theories. If we use one you suggested, we will give you a shout out and credit you for bringing it to our attention on that video. So please, give this video a like and subscribe so you don't miss that video going up. We will also be reading off some of your thoughts on these theories that are left in the comments below during our next episode of our Zelda podcast, the 𝐓𝐼𝐢𝐭𝐭𝐞𝐫. So let's get started. Ancient hero, starting with one of the most popular. To make it less confusing, whether or not they are the same person or completely different, the champion tunic Link that we see on the ground of Hyrule we'll be referring to as normal Link or just Link, while the one we see on the Sky Islands will be referred to as Ancient Link or Sky Link. Many people believe this Link to be the ancient hero depicted in the artwork shown to us by 𝐴MPA. Originally, a popular theory going around was this was actually Ganondorf, not a version of a past Link. They pointed towards the more muscular build, long fire-like red hair, and a sword that looks nothing like the Master Sword. This led to the good guy Ganondorf theory. Now, some people are pointing out that it is now similar to the Link we see here. Ignoring the red hair, which was the base of the old theory, and bringing up the green outfit being very similar. Ancient Link's hair is also very different and looks much longer. However, we do know one of the main features in Breath of the Wild is how many different outfits and clothes Link can have, with most headpieces being able to change Link's hairstyle, and Link having the ability to dye almost every item of clothing to a different color. This sequel even implies we will have much greater customization, as Link is wearing a mix of the Champion's Tunic and the Hylian set. Some people have stated how Ancient Link's paraglider is a lot different than normal Link's, but I feel like they aren't paying attention or are just remembering Links from the first Breath of the Wild, as we see both normal Link and Ancient Link with the same exact paraglider. With appearances alone, it's easy to see the connections of it being the ancient hero, but it's also easy to come up with ways to explain it, simply by using details we know are actual facts, to explain it's not him. Going even further, some people also say we never see the ancient hero's full face. While rewatching the trailer, we notice the only time we actually see Link's face is when he is being attacked by Malice. Neither Ancient Link or normal Link really has their full face being shown. They say we also do not see any islands floating in the sky when we see the castle, and we only see the islands when it is showing this ancient Link, meaning the scenes with the islands must take place in a past event or a different dimension, like the Twilight Realm or Sacred Realm. And yes, these are both also popular theories from fans. We do actually have 𝐴MPA stating these islands are in the sky above Hyrule, so it's hard to put weight behind those theories suggesting it's a different place, especially since we see areas resembling Hyrule on the ground below the Sky Islands. It's not just clouds or something completely different as some people have said. Specifically, one of the areas looks almost identical to and probably is the Thundra Plateau. However, they do look different, so this could be explained by time naturally passing, since this is a sequel, or it could be from it taking place in the past. If it is the past, this would lead a bit more credibility to the theory of it being the ancient hero. Some people have also pointed out that Hyrule also looks different when we see the Breath of the Wild Link, such as the Great Deku Tree being missing. So whether we travel to the past or stay in the present, We know Hyrule is going to have its differences from the original. We also do see a windmill from one of the Sky Islands, which would go against it being an ancient Link, as a wooden windmill couldn't last over 10,100 years, but it could have been rebuilt hundreds or even countless times over the centuries. Now, the changing of Hyrule, we actually knew this was going to happen, thanks to older interviews with Aonuma about how Hyrule is supposed to be more dynamic and the world evolving around the actions of the player. This could have been something as small as building your own house or completing Tarrytown like we see in the original, but most expect it to mean even more changes taking place in the overworld. Aonuma also stated after Breath of the Wild's release that he would love more time to fully flesh out Hyrule and make these areas more interesting, especially locations that most people never even visited, which was sort of the main purpose of the Hero's Path DLC, so players and Nintendo could track which areas were popular and which needed more of a focus or to be changed to have more people visit them. Link, but not Link. This one isn't what you think. It gets into some interesting concepts. We have two versions of this theory, so think of it as a bonus to go along with the top 5, making it a top 6. And we have another bonus later on as well. One version of this suggests this is the Link we know and played through Breath of the Wild as. This on its own has various different theories from people. Some believe he is in the Sacred Realm, some believe he is in the Twilight Realm, some believe he is where the Zonai vanished to, which they say explains his new outfit, sword, and shield. Some think it's in the future, but the most popular that I've seen is that he is in the past. After defeating Calamity Ganon and saving Zelda, just for Ganondorf to come back immediately after, and Zelda to fall to her doom, Link realizes his best chance not just to save Zelda who fell to her death, which is something some people have mentioned, and even people who believe this overall theory are split on this. So whether or not Zelda does die or disappears, or sent to the past, whatever happens to her, Link decides the best way to defeat Ganon once and for all is to go back in time and make sure the original battle with him doesn't end with him being sealed, but to help the ancient hero actually defeat him. This is actually very similar to Skyward Sword's ending, where not only do they have to stop Demise in the present era, but they also have to travel back 1,000 years ago to defeat him a second time, or would it be the first? Another variation of this theory has people thinking Link actually helps the past hero, while others believe he ends up finding out there is no past hero. The ancient hero doesn't exist, and he realizes he is meant to actually become or is the past hero, creating a sort of time travel loop. Now, going back to the beginning of this theory, the same overall situations apply, but Link from Breath of the Wild and Link from Hyrule Warriors Age of Calamity team up to defeat Ganon, just as Teba, Yunobo, Riju, and Sidon traveled back from Breath of the Wild Link's timeline to save the past champions moments before they die. So Link also uses the same method and reasoning to travel back and warn past Link from Age of Calamity that beating Ganon does nothing, and they need to work together to stop the real Ganondorf. This way, the past doesn't repeat itself. But would this make a new timeline? Would it just correct the original timeline? What do you think would happen in this sort of situation? Comment below and let me know. Zelda. Could the Sky Link actually just be Zelda? I've seen a lot of people bring this one up, and some debates getting pretty savage. This theory goes as such. We see in the original trailer, we see Zelda alongside Link the entire time. We have had interviews with Aonuma and others at Nintendo mentioning interest in both multiplayer and possibly making a game where Zelda was playable. Even before the first trailer, we had a lot of rumors of Breath of the Wild 2 actually being multiplayer, and Zelda tagging along with Link on their adventure, which was only strengthened when the first trailer actually released. Then on the second trailer, almost as a troll behind Nintendo, it was like, oh, you guys like the idea of Zelda on the adventure with Link? Too bad. And then they just literally dropped her into an endless dark void. I won't go too much into it because we explained it in depth on the last video, but I personally think this is just a tease, and Link does something to catch or save her, as we see Link himself being saved. Then Zelda's hand not slipping away, as it would if she was falling, but rising back up to grab Link's hand. However, if Zelda was to fall or something else happens that separates them, some people believe this is how Zelda ends up in the sky area. They again mention how you can't see the character's face, her hair is longer than Link's, how Nintendo purposefully cut her hair to be shorter, making it around the same length as the Sky Link. They also believe Zelda is to be exploring in the Sacred Realm, as Link is exploring in Hyrule, and we would be switching between the two characters or possibly even teaming up. This leads to Aonuma finally being able to make that traditional style online multiplayer Zelda game he has mentioned countless times. Ganondorf. I think this one sort of leads back to that good guy Ganon theory that was popular a long time ago. The person on the artwork tapestry is actually Ganondorf. Ganondorf, who we know is cursed by demise, somehow finds out about the curse and goes on a quest to figure out how to end the curse, or at least separate the evil from himself, so he can destroy it before it causes him to do something evil. This is why we see someone who looks more like Ganondorf, not Link, on the tapestry. Taller, more muscular, longer red hair, different style of clothes, different sword, and in a final attempt, Ganondorf decides to allow himself to be sealed so Ganon can't escape. Since the person in the tapestry is Ganondorf, the person flying around in the sky who looks like the hero in the tapestry, this is all 100% proof that the Sky Link is the ancient hero. And the ancient hero is in fact Ganondorf. Or at least, this is what fans who believe this theory think. A Link we already know. This theory is a mix of two, so a little bit of a bonus on top of the top 5 and the other bonus. A lot of people believe this Sky Link to be a previous Link, not an ancient hero from the tapestry, but an even more ancient hero. How? Nintendo has confirmed Breath of the Wild takes place long after Ocarina of Time. The game itself even proves this. So if Calamity Ganon was defeated and sealed 10,000 years ago, the events of games like Ocarina of Time and Skyward Sword would have to be hundreds to thousands of years before that, making the hero of time and the hero of the sky even more ancient heroes. With so many thinking this Sky Link is actually far in the past, they believe it just makes sense for it to be the hero of time who first fought Ganondorf, while others who believe a variation of the theory believe the sequel to Breath of the Wild will actually also work as a sequel to Skyward Sword, which is why Nintendo is releasing Skyward Sword HD so soon before Breath of the Wild 2. The main reason we play as this Link is because the Link goes on his own quest to stop the curse of demise after future Link is able to warn him. Though to be honest, I don't see any connection of this being the hero of time other than people just wanting it to be. And with the Skyward Sword connection, I have a similar feeling but not as heavily. However, we see what Hyrule looked like in Skyward Sword, and we've seen all of the islands in the sky, and none of Breath of the Wild or Breath of the Wild 2 resembles that. So I can't seem to find any actual evidence to support this theory.